Welcome back to another episode of the Grow Your Daycare podcast. And I am just so happy that you're here with me today, Valentine's Day. I wanted to focus on something a little bit different. Since it is Valentine's Day, I wanted to focus our conversation on you as the provider, as the childcare business owner, and help you with running a smooth center and doing it in a way that feels less busy or less heavy for you, okay? So I wanted to share 3 things you can do to hopefully help you feel less overwhelmed. So you can absolutely love running your business or running your childcare program without feeling this stress, okay? Before I dive in, I want to make sure you know that there are a lot of fun ways you and I can work together depending on what your needs are, from done for you services to just take care of my social media. I can definitely help you with that. The links are in the show notes. So make sure that after you've listened to this episode, you go there and you check those out. Now, let's start talking 3 tips to make running your childcare business feel less busy or less heavy. The first is effective time management. Now, I'm sure this is no surprise. If you're running a business, if you've got kids at home, if you're married, there's a lot of things happening for most of you, okay? And knowing how to effectively manage your time can definitely help you really just focus on the right things, help you feel less overwhelmed throughout the day, and still get things done, okay? So what types of things can you do to effectively manage your time? The first thing that I want to mention is maybe look at your schedule and kind of do an audit over the last 5-6 days of where you've been spending your time. What really stresses you out when it comes to your day-to-day, okay? Is it doing the billing? Is it reaching out to families? Is it posting on social media? What is it that's really stressing you out and that's taking most of your time? Because if you don't actually sit and do this, you're not really sure on where your time is being spent, right? So it's a really good idea to kind of start writing down exactly where and how you're spending your time, and really just get detailed. Let's say you spent an hour and a half trying to come up with one thing to post on social media. Or let's say it took you 5 hours to come up with, maybe you're redesigning your website on your own, or you're trying to learn a new software, right? So just be strategic when you're doing this and really just track your time. You're going to start noticing that you are most probably spending a lot of time doing things that A, are not really getting your business any further, or B, are a complete waste of time, okay? So create a schedule that really just allocates specific time blocks for various tasks. And once you do this is going to help you with your day-to-day operations. It's going to help you with your stress level, I promise you. So start thinking of a schedule you can put together where you actually say, okay, I've got 1 hour to write up some social media posts and create some graphics, and that's it. Or I have a few minutes here where I can focus on checking my messages, making sure that I've answered everyone's email, for example. Taking personal breaks, right? Time allocated to do administrative work in the office, or fixing templates, or maybe your marketing. It's really, really so beneficial once you start doing this, because that's when you're going to actually feel as though things are moving, like you're getting somewhere, there's progress. There's nothing worse than spending your time doing all the things, and then at the end of the day or at the end of the week, you're still stuck exactly where you were a week ago when you first started, okay? You want to always prioritize tasks that are urgent or really just important, and really focusing on essential activities. So when I say essential activities, when it comes to business, one of the things that comes to mind is obviously your marketing, making sure that that's always running in the back end, regardless of whether you're on your phone or on the laptop or not, okay? Regardless if it's the weekend or not. You want to make sure that whatever engine you've put together for your for your marketing, so social media and everything else, that it is working on autopilot And it's actually just getting your program out there. It's visible to people scrolling on social media, in the search engines and things like that, okay? The other thing you want to think about is, what else should I be doing right now that is going to move my business forward, or that it's actually going to get me results? So this can be, again, answering parents' phone calls or messages or emails. I mean, if you have a center, dealing with your staff, making sure that everyone is on the same page, making sure that the quality is there. So these are all really, really important things. And when you're running a business, you want to make sure that these things are done on a regular basis. And the other things that are not that important, like, I don't know, for example, making sure all the puzzles are put in the right box, or I don't know, making sure that all the crayons or all the crayons are sharpened, for example. So these are things that, are they really important? Are they really growing your business? Not really. Okay. Number 2, when it comes to running a business that feels less busy or less heavy, is delegating responsibilities. Now, this is a big one, especially if you're a business owner, if you are a mom and you're so used to kind of doing all the things. I know for me, I struggled with this for a very, very long time. I was really brought up to think that if I'm not the one doing something, that it's not going to get done. I was brought up to think that even if I was a business owner, I had to be in my office or in the classroom from beginning to end. And if I had to absent myself, it would have to be in case of a severe emergency. Like, there was no way I would be able to be out of the daycare, for example, when I had first started it. And this was something that was engraved in my mind, that I remember one time I had to step out of the daycare because I had a function to go to, and I felt so guilty, so overwhelmed. I was checking in every 30 minutes, and it was just something that I really need to get past, okay? I started delegating responsibilities and outsourcing things that I really did not know how to do. I knew that someone else could do it much better, or things that I just quite frankly did not have time to do, right? So, because if you're trying to do all the things, you're not going to get anything done well. So for me, it was things like bookkeeping. So I had a center, so I had to do bookkeeping every single month, and pay the taxes, payroll, things like that. And although I knew how to do these things, I just didn't want to do it anymore. So I knew that my time could be spent doing something else that was better for my business. And we actually found a bookkeeper that would come in the office once a month. That's all she needed. And she would kind of do the month's end and figure all that out. So I was not needed in the office. The other thing that I started delegating was tasks around the actual center itself. So before, when I first started my center, it was myself and my business partner. So we didn't have enough funds to hire staff, and we didn't have the enrollments, quite frankly. So we were the ones answering the phone calls, cooking the meals, cleaning, doing the paperwork, marketing, dealing with parents, curriculum, working in the classrooms. Like, we did it all. Okay. Cleaning the toilets. Like, we did it all. And I remember that when it was time for me to kind of pull myself out of the classroom and actually take on a role inside the office, more administrative, it was difficult because I was so used to doing all the things, but it was so important because my responsibilities and my role had changed at that point. And thank God that we were actually able to hire staff to help out. But I realized that I needed to delegate things that I knew my staff was able to do. So things like inventory, things like quality control checks, right? So tour processes. Like, I had a lead educator that had seen me to do this tour process with clients over and over again, and she knew it by heart. So let's say I was not able to do it because I was in the office doing something else, or maybe I wasn't there, or maybe we had someone just pop in off the street. Well, I knew that she was able to do it, right? So it took me a long time to kind of trust someone else with my baby, because it did feel like my baby. But once I did, then I realized that, like, the world doesn't stop turning just because I was not the one doing something. So I could focus my attention on other things. And that's how I started investing more in marketing and online marketing and learning all the things that I'm doing right now, because I had to let go of things that I knew I could kind of delegate or outsource to other people. And it really helped a lot. Okay, so do yourself a favor. If you're feeling really overwhelmed or stretched thin, try delegating responsibilities. Now, if you're running a home daycare, obviously this is going to look different. But you can definitely start delegating things like social media marketing, or getting someone to come in and help you clean in the weekend, or maybe the meals, right, that you're cooking. So there's a lot of things you can do, even if you're a home daycare provider and you're the only one doing all the things, okay? And number 3 is self-care, okay? And this is really important. I know we talk about self-care a lot. You hear it all the time, self-care here, self-love that. I'm not talking about self-love per se. I really want to focus on making sure that you have a schedule that you stick to with boundaries. So what this means is that if your job is done at 5 p.m. on Friday, it's done 5 p.m. on Friday. Like, don't start thinking about daycare. Don't start thinking about, oh my God, what am I going to do here? What am I going to do on Monday? What if somebody calls? What if a parent texts in the weekend? No. You need those boundaries. You need your battery to recharge, okay? Take that time to do other things. Take a break, go for a walk, spend time with your family, your friends, cook that meal you've always wanted to cook. It's just time for yourself is really, really important, okay? So I started doing this again when my business was able to kind of run without me being in the classroom. And I remember taking a gym class because at that point I had 4 kids and I could not do this after when I had finished work. So I remember I signed up for a class that was like maybe 50 minutes. It was like 2 minutes from work. So I would drop off my kids, and then I knew the staff was at work and everything was up and running. So I would run and do this. I think it was like a Pilates class for 50 minutes. And then I would go to work. And it felt kind of weird at the beginning, especially if you're not used to doing things like that. But let me tell you how good it felt, because my batteries recharged. I actually got to disconnect from, my kids, from my duties as an employer, as a director. And I just took care of myself, even if it was for 50 minutes. And then I went back to work refreshed and really just focused on starting the day. And taking care of my staff and the kids as well. So whatever that is for you, maybe it's not leaving during, operation hours. Maybe it's, turning off your phone Friday when the last child leaves, and then not checking messages until Monday morning. Maybe it's making sure that you wake up a bit earlier before the first drop off and you have that cup of coffee on your own and you journal, right? Whatever this is for you, just take the time to really practice some self-care and do something that you enjoy doing. And I promise you, you're going to feel so much better. You're going to feel more accomplished, especially if you're journaling and you just write down your goals, or you write down some thoughts and things you want to do in your business. This is really going to help you with that. And it's also going to help you feel less heavy throughout the day, which is really, really good, especially if you have young kids at home yourself, okay? So there you have it. 3 things you can do to make sure you're running a business that feels less busy and less heavy. Manage your time effectively, delegate responsibilities, and self-care and reflection, and really just focus on taking care of you so that in return you can then go take care of the kids in your care. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you real soon. Bye for now.